It's a great opportunity for us to learn offense, right? Move the ball, pass, cut. We just can't stand and watch anymore.
When Sophie Cunningham first stepped into the spotlight, she was defined by raw toughness. Fearless between the lines, outspoken beyond them, and fueled by an intensity that never dipped. But recently, something about her has shifted. The way she moves, the way she presents herself. The confidence now follows her everywhere, not just onto the hardwood. She's no longer only making noise in sneakers. She's commanding attention in every space she enters. The same player once known solely for grit and hustle is now sparking conversations for an entirely different reason. So what triggered this transformation? And how did Sophie Cunningham rewrite her own story? Sophie never asked for approval. From the moment she stepped on a basketball court, she played like it belonged to her. Whether it was a high school gym in Columbia, Missouri, or a packed arena roaring with WNBA fans, that ownership never faded. Long before professional contracts and media attention, Sophie was building a foundation rooted in discipline and fire. At Rockbridge High School, she didn't just put up numbers. She crushed expectations. For straight state championships weren't luck. They were a declaration. By the time her high school run ended, with nearly 2,000 career points and a McDonald's All-American selection, it was obvious. Basketball wasn't something Sophie did. It was who she was. College only amplified that identity. At the University of Missouri, she evolved into a relentless scorer and emotional leader, starting all 129 games across 4 seasons. She attacked the rim without fear, absorbed contact, and popped right back up without complaint. Her stat lines grew louder: over 2,100 points, elite shooting efficiency, national accolades. But what truly separated her was her edge. Sophie didn't retreat. She pushed back. That mentality followed her into the WNBA in 2019, when Phoenix selected her 13th overall, the highest draft pick in Missouri program history. The league, however, doesn't hand out fairy tales. Sophie earned her minutes the hard way. Loose balls, physical defense, confident shots even on off nights. For 6 seasons with the Mercury, she carved out her role through effort alone. But over time, something subtle crept in. Familiarity, comfort, and for a player built on urgency, comfort was dangerous. So when a 4-team trade sent her to Indiana in 2025, she didn't hesitate. This wasn't just a relocation, it was a reset. Indiana was young, fast, and hungry, powered by Caitlin Clark's generational shooting and Aaliyah Boston's dominance inside. The pace was demanding, the expectations unforgiving. Exactly what Sophie needed. In Indiana, there were no hiding spots. Every possession required energy, movement, and accountability. For Sophie Cunningham, that environment felt like oxygen. From the first day of training camp, her hunger was impossible to miss. She didn't ease in. She attacked every drill with urgency, as if her career depended on it. Coaches immediately noticed her adaptability. Teammates fed off her intensity. Whether switching onto faster guards, crashing the glass, or pulling up confidently in transition, Sophie played with an edge that couldn't be manufactured. But the real evolution wasn't mechanical. It was mental. She stopped playing cautiously. She wasn't there to blend in. She arrived to lead. As the season unfolded, Sophie wasn't just finding her place. She was shaping the identity. Phoenix had been home, but Indiana offered something sharper. A chance to become more demanding, more vocal, more relentless. And as the Fever's rhythm began to evolve, Sophie wasn't just riding the wave. She was pushing it forward. Then came June 17, 2025. A tense matchup against Connecticut shifted everything. During a scramble under the basket, Caitlin Clark took an inadvertent poke to the eye. Before the crowd fully registered what happened, Sophie was already there, shoving J.C. Sheldon to the floor in one swift motion. Whistle. Eruption. Debate. Officials saw flagrant. Fans saw loyalty. Sophie saw protection. In that moment, she became something more than a rotation player. She became Clark's shield. While critics fixated on the foul, the deeper message went unnoticed. Sophie wasn't reacting emotionally. She was defending culture. She made it clear that Indiana wouldn't be pushed around. Her stat line, modest on paper, didn't scream stardom, but her impact was undeniable. Tempo changed when she checked in. Energy spiked. Voices followed her lead, and while many players struggle with bench roles, Sophie expanded within it. The moment she entered the game, everything lifted. She wasn't there to survive minutes. She was there to change momentum. From clutch threes to fearless drives, she delivered exactly when Indiana needed it most. What separated her wasn't skill alone. It was instinct. She understood moments. When to slow things down. When to ignite chaos. Her style wasn't about domination. It was about elevation. She raised the team's floor when legs were tired and focus drifted. Coaches trusted her. Teammates leaned into her edge. Fans labeled her the sixth player, but inside the locker room she became something deeper. Indiana's emotional engine. Whenever Sophie Cunningham speaks, the room listens. There's no polish. No corporate filter. Just honesty delivered with the same intensity she brings on defense. And when Indiana's season began oscillating between promise and frustration, Sophie did what others avoided. She said it out loud. After a disappointing loss, she stepped to the microphone and asked the uncomfortable question, "Why aren't we consistent?" It wasn't criticism for attention. It was a demand for growth. She didn't sugarcoat anything. Shooting 30%? Unacceptable. "We owe the fans," she said. And it didn't sound rehearsed. It sounded personal. Sophie believed this roster had too much talent to settle. Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston. The pieces were there. The standard needed to rise. And she backed her words with action. When Clark went down late in a preseason game, Sophie calmly stepped to the line and knocked down free throws that forced overtime and secured the win. No theatrics. Just composure. Kelsey Mitchell summed it up perfectly. "She's a dog." Head coach Stephanie White agreed. Toughness. Versatility. Winning traits. Even after posting 16 points and 10 rebounds against Atlanta, Sophie didn't celebrate. "It's about time," she joked. But beneath the humor was expectation. She demands more from herself and everyone else. When she arrived in Indiana, she didn't hide her belief. "We're going to win a championship," she said. It wasn't bravado. It was conviction. Then came the moment that shook the league. Live on television, Sophie said the words fans had been whispering. No more motion offense. Calm. Direct. Unavoidable. Within hours the clip spread everywhere. And Caitlin Clark responded with 4 simple words. 100% with you. That endorsement changed everything. What started as honesty became a movement. Teammates didn't recoil. They exhaled. Someone finally said what needed to be said. Media outlets erupted. Debate shows dissected it. Some called it reckless. Others called it leadership. But no one ignored it. Indiana wasn't just playing games anymore. They were setting standards. And Sophie Cunningham had become the voice behind it. What followed wasn't chaos. It was clarity. Sophie's willingness to disrupt comfort reshaped Indiana's narrative. She didn't wear a captain's patch, but her influence was unmistakable. Diving for loose balls. Contesting rebounds. Refusing to let effort slip. She brought an edge that can't be coached. After another big performance, she explained it simply. "I bring energy. I bring feistiness. I'm a little sassy." That sass, it turned out, was the missing ingredient. When Caitlin Clark took another hard hit later in the season, Sophie responded instantly, earning an ejection but sending a message. Protect the team. Protect the culture. As injuries mounted and pressure grew, her voice only got stronger. "Nobody likes us," she said. "All we have is each other." It wasn't negativity. It was unity. Behind the scenes, Sophie admitted she'd grown too comfortable in Phoenix. Indiana forced discomfort and she embraced it. Everything she learned from Diana Taurasi she now passed on. General Manager Lynn Dunn praised her competitive spirit. Coach Stephanie White trusted her instincts. Teammates followed her lead. She wasn't just part of the roster. She was shaping its spine. Game days reflected it. She led warm-ups, pulled rookies aside, called out switches, reminded everyone they weren't there to spectate. They were there to win. Off the court, she matched the city's grit. She joked with fans, leaned into the Midwest mentality. Over time, Sophie became the embodiment of Indiana's fight. Not flashy, not quiet, just relentless. What Sophie Cunningham has become in Indiana is far more than a typical role player. It's a second act, a full-fledged reinvention. On the court, she stretches from perimeter to paint, guarding multiple positions with agility, diving for loose balls, and hitting clutch shots when the moment demands it. Her stat lines show a glimpse of her contributions, but her real value lies in the energy she injects, the momentum she creates, and the psychological lift she gives to her teammates. When she enters the game, it isn't just minutes being played. It's a shift in tempo, attitude, and confidence. Off the court, Sophie has completely reshaped her public persona and personal routine. Gone is the college kid who survived on fast food and muscle memory. In her place stands a disciplined athlete, sculpted through nutrition, training, and mindfulness. Meals are meticulously planned to fuel performance, blending protein-rich foods with occasional indulgences that satisfy her without sacrificing energy. Her Instagram feed reflects the balance she's achieved: fun, authentic, and unfiltered. Fans see clumsy dances with teammates, behind-the-scenes gym sessions, weekend trail rides, and moments of genuine laughter during bloopers. These glimpses make her relatable and approachable, drawing nearly 150,000 followers who aren't just scrolling. They're engaged, invested, and inspired. Fashion has also become an extension of her confidence. A viral moment in August 2024, when she entered a game in a color-block mini dress with unapologetic poise, signaled her evolution from athlete to cultural presence. Sophie's wardrobe, curated with her mother Paula's guidance, has become a statement of personality, not trends. Some days soft cowgirl tones, other days bold streetwear layered over athletic staples. Every outfit tells a story, reflects a mood, and reinforces her fearless authenticity. Even her downtime and lifestyle choices reflect this evolution. Off-season mornings start before sunrise at her grandparents' 75-acre farm outside Columbia, Missouri. There, Sophie pairs skill-focused training sessions with trail rides, creek fishing, and barn singing, blending discipline with reflection, faith, and connection to nature. Her approach to life mirrors her basketball mentality. Balance is essential, but effort never wavers. Even her choice of vehicles, practical and reliable rather than flashy, echoes this mindset. She partners with brands like GMC and Adidas, not as a celebrity endorsement, but as a collaboration rooted in purpose and performance. Her defining moment in June 2025, the on-court response to a shove on Caitlin Clark, showcased the protective fire that defines her. The ejection and fine were only surface-level consequences. What the public witnessed was far deeper: loyalty, leadership, and a refusal to let her team's culture be compromised. That single moment, controversial as it was, transformed her into Indiana's most compelling enforcer and quickly made her jersey one of the top sellers in franchise history. Yet Sophie's evolution isn't limited to moments of high drama. She actively invests in the next generation through the Sophie Cunningham Classic, youth clinics, and community initiatives, showing that giving back matters as much as personal success. Her relationship with teammates, especially Caitlin Clark, has grown into a genuine partnership built on trust, humor, and shared belief, swapping pre-game prayers, coordinating outfits, and leaning on each other through victories and challenges. Together, they've established a culture of accountability, camaraderie, and mutual empowerment. Sophie Cunningham's Indiana chapter isn't just another stop in a career. It's a renaissance. It's a player who refuses to be defined by a single stat, position, or stereotype. She's the spark, the heartbeat, and the standard bearer. And the question remains: does this fearless evolution signal a new blueprint for athletes everywhere? Or is it a risky distraction in a league that thrives on consistency? One thing is undeniable: Sophie Cunningham is no longer just part of the story. She's writing it.